Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for watching today. And sorry, I'm a little late today, 1 p.m. today on Tuesday, the 28th. Busy morning already. So, today I wanted to give you a couple things. First, let me make sure I've connected and are on Facebook. I know you go through this every day. There I am. So, want to give you some ideas on prospecting because the last week was a good week for me with coaching and doing a little role playing with agents, especially new agents. Gosh, we got so many brand new agents right out of school. So I love to do a little role playing when they're making their prospecting calls. So I wanted to give everybody 3 good keys to think about when making your prospecting calls. And I'm going to just off the top of my head, I'm going to give you some ideas of what to say. So, of course, the most important thing when making prospecting calls is your job is to get an appointment. To get an appointment with a buyer, an appointment. And I'll be clear, and not too many coaches and trainers say this, can be in the future, not today. So an appointment could be any time in the future where they say, this is my opinion, yes, I will talk to you again. So, example, again, before I go with these are not part of the 3 keys, but I'm just saying your job is the appointment, is if they say, I'm looking about a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 6 months from now, do you mind if I follow up with you 6 months from now just to see how you're doing and give you an update of what the market's doing at that time? That's an appointment. You're putting it in the book, say, I'm putting it in my book. I'm putting in my calendar, check in with you 6 months from now, let you know what the market's doing, maybe give you a valuation at that time of what your house is. Because remember, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that your value of your house changes with every single sale in your area. Did you know that? Question. It's just an idea of telling people, giving them something that they think their value stays the same. Your value changes with every single sale in your area. Now, if the sales stay to remain the same, value stays the same. If 2 or 3 houses sell in your area higher, your value goes up. If 2 or 3 sales are lower in your area, value goes down. It changes with every sale in the area. So these are things that I could definitely role play with you later. But again, your most important thing is to get an appointment now, soon, future, year from now, 3 years from now. Every single person you talk to, you should book an appointment to follow up with them. Don't leave it random. And usually most people, especially if they're in your sphere of influence, don't want to say no. They'll say, sure. Think of you. Do you have any salespeople that you actually pick up the phone with? Past salespeople that sold you something, whatever, anybody that you talk to, and you walk into a store, walk somewhere, can I follow up with you? Do you mind if I just follow up with you? But you got to give them something of value. And of course, the value, number one value, is your service of telling them either what the values of their house are worth, if they're going to be a seller and buyer or just seller. But if they're just a buyer, first-time home buyers, I will keep you updated to let you know what's happening in the real estate market and happening in what's going on in what the current interest rates are at that time, and tell you an example if you're what a payment might be in general terms in that time. So you got to give them some value. But here are 3 things. Exactly, prospecting calls is what you always got to keep in mind. I have my notes here that I wrote down earlier today, is that you understand the needs and wants and the motivations of the people. So every time you're calling them and you get a hold of them, have a conversation, make sure your job during that call is to understand them, find out their needs and wants and what their motivation someday, either soon or later, what their motivation will be to buy or sell. Again, next time they buy or sell, is it looking to upgrade, downsize, first-time home buyer, retire? Again, some people might not know. They just don't know. But most people got a good idea. Like so if someone's calling me, wasn't in real estate, and they said, when are you going to sell? I go, here's around what my kids' age are. This is kind of where I want to start slowing down in life. And this is probably around X amount of years from now. That's me. But most people, some people, they kind of know. I kind of know. General idea. You don't have to call me next year. Don't have to call me within the next probably 5 years or more. But I'm one of those. Well, at least I could give you a timeline. Number two, when actually speaking with people, there's four things that you should think of while you're physically speaking with them. Is that you want to repeat, affirm, empathize, and ask questions. So repeat, affirm, empathize, and ask questions. Like an example, and I'm just right off the top of my head. If someone says, "Yeah, I'm thinking about buying a house in next year in this area," and then you go, say, I'm just using the same city of Cleveland. So I'm looking to buy a house in the city of Cleveland probably next year. Oh, really? You're thinking about buying a house in Cleveland next year? That's the repeat. The affirm is like, that's great to hear. I totally understand that you're looking to look to buy a house next year. And three, empathize with them is that, again, I understand if you know their needs and wants, empathize with them. I said, I understand it's you're a first time home buyer. I'd be happy to help you, guide you through the process. If they say, if you already know their needs and wants before they say that, it's like, oh, I empathize with them. They're looking to retire. They're looking to downsize. Oh, I understand you're looking to downsize. Now, the next is the questions. Well, I would enjoy knowing what size house, bedrooms, bathrooms, and then start asking any questions that you feel after knowing their needs and wants. That's number one. After knowing their needs and wants is repeating, affirming, empathizing, asking questions. This kind of goes also for, I just had an agent, had a for sale by owner the other day, and we did a little bit of role playing. And this example, you make a call, so someone says, "No, I want to sell my house myself." And they want reasoning because they want to save some money. Number one. So here's what I would say: is you repeat it. Oh, I totally understand that you want to sell your house yourself. I understand the process and why people want to sell their house themselves. And it's usually to save money. And I totally understand and agree with that you want to save money. So that's kind of the repeat, affirm, and empathize. Again, I'm going right off the top of my head with this. And then the questions is like this: if I could show you how using me as an agent will save you more money and make you more money, can I show you that? Would be interested in meeting with me to show you how I could make you more money and save more money than you would on your own as a selling it yourself, because it's a money thing. So again, repeating the question. So you want to sell your house yourself? Two, affirming, I totally understand that. Empathizing with them. I totally understand that you want to save money. I've had many for sale by owners in my history of 30 years in real estate, and I've saved them more money than they thought they would do on their own. And would you be interested in meeting with me if I could show you how I could make you more money and save you more money than you would do on your own? That's just right off the top of my head, but you got to make it your own. You got to practice it. You got to, before you make your calls, write down things like that would be very easy for you to come off the top of your head. So that's, again, I was just throwing that out there without practicing. And then the third thing to think about when you're physically talking with people, is matching their rate of speed, their tone, and their volume. People love when people talk to them it doesn't have to be identical, but you can't be speaking a mile a minute and they're a slow talker. You can't be speaking at the top of your lungs when they're kind of a quiet talker. And again, it's a tennis match of back and forth. That's why I always say ask questions, throwing questions in there. This is not a one-way street of communication where, hi, how are you? I'm doing fine. And then you talk for 10 minutes. You're going to lose them. Again, like you hear the saying, I like to say to agents, like, remember, God gave you two ears and one mouth. Have you ever heard that saying? I know I've said it before in videos. That is that you should be listening and asking two times as many questions as speaking to you. But again, it's like a tennis match of going back and forth, because sometimes you get people that love to talk a lot. And those people that love to talk a lot, that's great for you, because they love for people to listen, and they will leave that conversation going, God, I had a great conversation, because they did most of the talking. And then there's people that like to listen more. So you gotta gauge that, and you can only gauge that by asking questions to see how long they talk, and really finding out their needs and wants with questions, and see how they are reacting to your conversations and your questions, if that makes sense. So again, those three things that I wanted to give you today is understanding their needs and wants and motivations. Number two, the four things: repeat, affirm, empathize, and ask questions, and practice that. You can practice that in role playing with your coach or your colleagues or your friends and family. Someone just getting that, because that is the game of prospecting and how to communicate well with people. And three is match the rate of speed, tone, and their volume, and it makes people feel a little bit more comfortable, like they're having a good conversation with you. So hopefully those three things, I mean, there's many things, different things out there, but these three things have always resonated with me by any podcast or any coaching class or sales book or video that I've ever watched in many years in real estate and sales. These three kind of things always seem to pop up in their suggestions when prospecting and making sales calls. So hopefully those give you a few things to think about, especially when making those prospecting calls. And that's it for today. So remember, use me as a resource. Call, text, email me anytime. Happy to make some time, and love to role play and help you hone your skills as much as possible. So that's it. Have a great Tuesday. I almost forgot what day it was. It's going so fast. And we'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday at high noon. Bye-bye.